welcome back. So today what I'm gonna do is start a compost bin in a 5-gallon bucket. So I've been thinking about composting for kind of a while now because I noticed that we have a lot of food waste that would definitely be easily compostable, but we've just been throwing it in the trash because we don't have like a composting program or anything like that in our city that I know of. So I decided that I'm just going to start with a small backyard compost just to test out the waters and see if it would be possible. Also, if you hear really loud water running, that's because we're currently in my backyard and we have like a water fountain pond situation, so I'm sorry if it's kind of loud. But yeah, okay. So first of all, you're gonna need a bucket. So this is a 5-gallon bucket I got from Lowe's for I think around $6. You're also going to need, let's go over here. You're also going to need a drill with a drill bit. And this is so that we can drill some holes at the bottom of the bucket so that if there are any excess water, it can leak out. You're also going to need some green stuff. So when you're composting, you want a mix of green stuff, which is like old leaves, old stems, things like that, and food waste, which this is some food waste that I've been collecting for the past 2 days. We already have a container full. And I feel like the green part is probably the harder part to get, but because we have a backyard, like all of these dead leaves over here, I can totally cut off and throw in the compost. And when you're composting, what you want to do is you want to layer it. So you start with green, then you go with some food waste, and then more green stuff, and then more food waste in a layer, and then you want to just seal it. So yeah, let's just get started. So first of all, what I need to do is I need to drill some holes at the bottom of this bucket. I think I'm gonna do 4 holes. Okay, so now, can you see that? There you go, you can see it now. So now there are 4 holes, which I think are going to be adequate for what I'm trying to do. Okay, so now I'm gonna just open it. Okay, so the first thing that goes in the bucket is green stuff. Hi guys, voiceover Jen here to talk a little bit more. So I realized my neighbors were standing there, so I got a little bit weird and stopped talking. But when I talk about green stuff, it doesn't necessarily mean that the thing you're adding in has to be green, but it mostly refers to things that will add nitrogen into your compost pile. This includes leaves, grass, mulch, but you can also add paper, newspaper, cardstock, things like that. However, I would be cautious when adding paper or cardstock. Those should probably be added in small quantities and be chopped up. They take much longer to decompose versus leaves and grass, so it would add some time before your compost would be ready to use. Since I'm using such a small bucket, I'm going to omit that and I'm not going to add in paper or cardstock or anything of the such. I'm going to stick mostly just to leaves and dead plant matter. With leaves, it'll probably be best if the leaves were already dried and brown. That will take, a shorter time to compost, but it's fine. I didn't have any, so I'm adding just, dead leaves from my tree. And then I'm bringing you over here to this vegetable area that we have in the garden. I'm cutting up this pepper plant right now. We love this pepper plant, but we had our deck redone recently, and when they were repainting the deck, they weren't careful and they got a lot of paint onto this area and some of the trees next to it. And obviously, since it's paint on food now, it's no longer edible, so I'm cutting all of it off and I'm putting it into my compost pile, and I'm gonna count this as a food waste kind of like layer. I'm gonna chop pretty much all of it off, and then right after I'm done with cutting up this pepper plant, I'm going to go to the plant next to it, which is a grapefruit tree. As you can see, they also got a lot of paint on this grapefruit tree. If the leaves are like 100% covered in paint, I'm not going to put that in the compost pile. I'm just going to trash those leaves because it's probably not going to break down very well. But if like a little bit of paint is on it, I think it'll be fine. So I'm putting it in as another layer. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and walk back over to the table where I have the food waste that I've been collecting for the past couple of days. You could definitely Google what you can put into compost piles. The only thing I would definitely avoid is any animal products. So I would mostly stick to fruit like shells or like fruit coverings, egg shells, avocado shells, things like that. Definitely wouldn't put any milk products in, and I wouldn't put any bread products in. And then when you're doing compost piles, you should definitely make sure that the top pile is always leaves. This will prevent any fruit flies or too many bugs from entering your compost pile. So yeah, top layer should always be leaves.